Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach. Today, I'm so glad you're with us. Hey, it's Halloween, 10/31/22. You know, I love it. It's a Monday, starting off on Halloween. That's got to be a great thing. Ending our check month, remember, check act. We're getting done with that. This should be a time when you check your plan. You should be ready to roll for the next 2 months. Knowing that November, we've got due month. We're just working hard. And then, obviously, December, finishing month strong. But at the same time, we are working on our 2023 plan. Really exciting time to be here. I'm super pumped you're with me. Welcome to a lot of the new members we have. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. We've got a lot planned for you. Evernote templates out there for those of you using Evernote. New planner for 2023, updated and ready to go. And of course, for those of you jumping in Discord, we've got a great group over there. Get a chance, stop in, say hello. It'd be great to see you. We got a great week planned. We really do. I'm going to be talking about leadership. We're moving into November. As I said, it's a due month. And this month, we talk about gratitude, leadership, accountability, direction, discipline, coaching. And if you want to go get that information, just go to themorningcoach.com, click Compass, and you can kind of see what we have discussions for this month. And today, we're going to get into speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. Seems like this comes up a lot because it's like my favorite quote in the world, but we're going to talk about leadership this week. We got a new book tomorrow. We're getting started. Excited about that. Essentialism, the disciplined pursuit of less. Been on this track lately, right? Talking about really focusing in on things. And I think this is a great book to get us ready for planning. If you, again, go up in the Compass, hit November, click book study, and it's up there. You can get the book. We'll be, getting into that tomorrow and getting you a little bit organized with that. Wednesday, we've got walk softly but carry a big stick. Another big quote on leadership. We'll have some fun with that. We got an Ask JB on Thursday. Been getting a lot of questions on mistakes. So I want to talk about overcoming some mistakes, leadership mistakes. What do you do? How does that work? Friday, good one. We've got where does leadership fit in the Get It Done Now process or the plan? Be going over that. Saturday, leadership systems, of course, our system Saturday. And then Sunday, going into our spiritual side, a little focus on spiritual leadership. And as you know, get here 3 times, fantastic. 4 times, awesome. 5 times, great. And 7 times, you are a superstar. Super pumped that we are rolling with it. But let's get into it this week. One of my favorite quotes, speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. And that means you kind of lead by example, right? Speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. The faster the leader goes, the faster everyone around you goes. Now, things have been changing. I have to tell you, this system, what's so cool about it is it evolves. It evolves with us, just as like I've said, it's evolved before, and it's evolving even more. And one of the reasons is because I've always been one that yells, let's lead by example, right? When I did my MBA and was in management school and went through all that management training all those years ago, that's what it was. You read like Jim Collins, Good to Great, and all the leadership management book, it's like, you got to lead by example. And that's fantastic until you can't lead by example. And what do I mean by that? Well, when we are living the ILD life, and for those of you that are new, some of our acronyms, it means intelligent life design. It means really finding that residual and passive income and taking your time back and being able to live with your time. That's what ILD is, what we're all really striving for day by day. When you start reaching levels of success in the ILD life and you got to start managing people, guess what happens? The speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack can kind of break down. Why is that? Well, because you're starting to take leisure time. You're starting to take time off, do other things. One of my really close members that's been involved with us in IC and has been really rocking, is very, very extremely successful. And this has always been a challenge, right? And it was just awesome this year because now there's 3 days off, 2 days off. And, if you're from the Midwest and you have a work ethic, it's one of those things that you just have so much guilt. I mean, it just builds up in you like, I can't take any time off. And part of the reason is because all of what we've been taught is speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack, right? You got to lead by example. And I'll give you an example of that. When I first started Morning Coach, we weren't making any money. We had a ton of people. This was back when we were just getting started. We were free from like 2005 to 2009. It wasn't a coaching program. There wasn't much to it. We were just building it that way. And in order to survive, I had to start a company. And the company I started was called Viral Kung Fu, kind of funny, but it was about viral marketing. We did websites and marketing and stuff, and we had an office in Fort Lauderdale. And I always said I wouldn't go back to the corporate world. That's not what I wanted to do, right? But as I started getting interns and we got more employees and the company started to grow, I became a CEO. It was horrendous. I was going in at 7 in the morning and staying until 7 at night. I was creating a job for myself that I didn't want. Now, with that being said, if you love what you're doing, you're passionate about what you're doing, you're so excited about it, that's fine. Work is love made visible. But if you're living an ILD life like I want to live, and I wanted to go play golf, and I wanted to do other things, last thing I want to do is sit in an office from 7 to 7, and part of the reason I was there was because speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack, right? So as much as there's truth to that, we also have to be very cautious in our leadership when I keep screaming lead by example, because we do need to lead by example, okay? But we have to be cautious of changing our life because we've decided a leadership pattern. And so it really comes down to our planning again. Okay, when we talk about our planning, what is it that you want your life to be? There are people that want to be the CEO of a company and want to work 80 hours a week. There are, okay? I'm just not one of them. As you know, freedom is one of my top values. But maybe that's for you, and that's okay. Then speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack is really important. Okay, you need to get your team together. You need to, get them following you. You need to show up early. You need to stay late. We talk about in the NFL with a lot of our professional athletes and golfers, first one to the course, last one to leave. You hear the stories, right? Oh, such a hard worker. First one to the course, last one to leave. That's good until it's not. And I think that's why it's important that we always are evolving within this community. Because I probably a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, wouldn't have this same conversation. I'd have been all in on speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. You have to lead by example. But what if it's not part of your plan? Well, then we got to do some other things. We got to step back. We got to step back and we got to really use posture and presence. And this is where our planning and understanding leadership really comes into play. Because as long as you're postured properly, right? And you posture yourself, meaning not just your way you walk, but the way you posture yourself, meaning the way that you show up in your leadership role. As long as you could set expectations for those around you, then you can do what you want. But they have to understand, and you have to communicate that there is a reason that you're able to do that and they're not. And that's where the challenge comes. And so you work hard and you lead by example, but you also live a free life. And you discuss it because that's the philosophy or the plan that you're on. So when you're planning with everyone, it's like, this is what I'm doing. This is why I built what I built. If you want to build the same thing, then you've got to put a plan together and build it. You got to go get skills. You got to go get talent. You got to go do it. And I think part of the problem with social media in the world we live in, right, is this is what drives people insane because they go look on Facebook and go, well, gosh, how can that person do that? How can they travel all the time when I got to go to work? Right? When they start comparing, you can't compare somebody's life to your life. That is a really bad recipe. Now, you can benchmark certain things, and companies will benchmark against other companies and say, okay, they're doing this and this. But when it comes to comparing, you can't because everybody's got a separate mission. Everybody's on a different game plan. Everybody's doing things differently. But yet so many people judge people evenly. And they judge them based on this kind of the success thing, but that's not really what it's all about. In fact, if you understand ILD, it's not even about the money you accumulate. It's about living for less than what you're spending so that you can live a lifestyle of freedom, right? Instead of an FU money kind of situation, which some people have. We have people listening that have that. But it's not about that. It's about FU lifestyle, which is about peace and joy and happiness and freedom. And you don't need a ton of money to do that if you're organized and structured properly. In fact, you can create residual and passive income bases in order for you to do that. Now, it's not easy. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy, but it's a different lifestyle. So if you got people that are coming to work for you, and because they have to come to work for you, they got to work a certain amount of time because they're trading dollars for hours, which is nothing wrong with that. You just want to live a different way. It's hard to be a speed of leader determines the rate of the pack. Because they're looking at you and go, well, gosh, why are you playing golf? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing, I want to do that. But you can't, they can't because you need them there to perform their function as a worker. So not everybody can live the ILD life, unfortunately. Otherwise, our society would collapse, right? So there's a good thing that not everybody listens and not everybody applies these lessons. But the truth is anybody can if they're willing to really look and build skills and talents that we always talk about and execute on a plan and become more productive. And then really that's what I teach, right? It's a systemic plan to help you build a lifestyle. That's what we're doing here together, to live your best life. And that's totally different for every single person. Some people's best life is to be in that office 80 hours a day, grinding it out, loving life and building, right? It's not for everybody. Good example, that's Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Gary Vaynerchuk I met Gary way back when he was doing Wine Library TV. A lot of people know him, right? Know what he's about. And he's a hustle guy. Like, he works day and night. He does not stop. That's not me. I don't want to do that. Even though I do a lot of work, I want to work when I want to work, not when I'm forced to work. Okay? So the idea of speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack really determines on the way that you're setting your expectations and the way that you're putting your plan forward and the way people understand you and the way you posture yourself. I can't tell you, that's one of the most important things. The way that you show up, that when you're there, you listen. When you're there, you're engaged. Because the last thing you want is people around you to be apathetic. Oh, yeah, there they come. Right? Ugh. Never here. Not a part of this. Okay? So you have to be able to let people know that this is one way and this is the way I live my life and this is the reason. And as long as people know how much you care, all of a sudden they're going to understand you. And this is why it's so important as far as leadership goes for those around you, and specifically when you're hiring people, is they understand what they're getting involved with. They have to know coming in. Because if they don't understand coming in, they can become a poison, right? And you got to build your leadership circle around people that get you. It's really critical. Because if people don't get you, you can have that poison behind you and nobody needs that negative energy. So yes, I love speed of the leader, determine the rate of the pack. Does it work? Yes. Does it work for everybody? Not so much. Not anymore. Okay? It will always work if you want to be the example and you just want to plow ahead. But if you want to find freedom and be able to pull it back at some point, it really gets challenging. I think a lot of people are seeing that with COVID. A lot of people went home to work and they're like, I don't need to go into office. I can tell you, I got some CEOs I coach that are struggling with this now. How do I get people back to the office? They know they don't need to be there, but I need them there. And believe me, there's a reason that you want people in the office sometimes. You need that team. You need that energy. You need that synergy, right? So it's hard. And people are dealing with that right now. So you got to give them a reason. You got to give them a reason. You got to be able to posture up. You got to have a plan. You got to have structure so people understand what's going on, especially really strong people, because they're going to question it. You know, I don't need to be here. Why am I here? And they're going to find somebody that values them or cares about them, and that's where you're going to have an issue. So leadership, yes, it is about example. Yes, it is about posture. Yes, it is about, coming in and being true to your word, but it's also understanding the ability to care and the ability to understand what somebody else's circumstance is, and also your ability to move quick and do the things you need to do and be flexible in your leadership style. So again, stepping back, one of my favorite quotes, speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. There are times to sprint within any organization. There's times to sprint with any family. You're trying to make a change. You guys are trying to do something in a family unit. That's still leadership. Parenting is leadership. And so we've got to make sure we're doing the things that we can do to posture up and execute in a plan. And that's really why I think it's so critical you have some structure to what you're doing if you're going to lead others, okay? If you're going to lead others, we need to know that we've got a structure, we've got a plan, and you're moving forward. And that's the key. That's the key. I think people need to understand that you're executing on a plan, and that's just the same thing as speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. Okay, if they see you executing on a plan, they see you putting things together and you moving forward, then they're going to do the same thing and they're going to create value and they're going to move forward regardless of the work time or work day. And ultimately, that's what you want. Ultimately, you want people moving forward towards the direction you want. That's what a leader does, right? Getting them to believe in themselves and become the best person they can be. And you do that by being the best person you can be. And that's really the leadership that I'm looking for. It's not so much about showing up every day. It's about showing up when you do the best that you could possibly be every moment, every second. And we're all working on that. We all make mistakes. We're going to talk about that on Thursday. But we're going to keep rocking and rolling. We're going to keep the energy going. So speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. Yes, it does, with a caveat. Let's get a plan in place. Let's work the plan. Let's communicate the plan. And let's be the leader we're meant to be. Heck, the world needs you. The world needs positive energy out there. Okay, so I love you. Get out there and have a fantastic Halloween. Starting November tomorrow, it is going to be awesome. All right, go do it to it. I love you, and I'll talk to you right here tomorrow. Get your day started on morningcoach.com. Hey, thanks for listening in. JB here. This is a great opportunity for you to join a Morning Coach in our groups Ignite and Freedom. All you got to do is go over to morningcoach.com. We've got a great trial running right now. It will be life-changing for you. Get all of our structure, our planning, and every single day a CoachCast with me, energy to get your day started right. All you got to do is get over to morningcoach.com, click that join button, and we'll see you inside the community. I can't wait to work with you tomorrow. Go do it to it, and we'll see you right back here at morningcoach.com.